Today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, 10 very brave children entered the haunted house of horrors to try to prove themselves worthy of signing a pin that is believed to hold special coveted powers. Only 3 of these daring souls would claim immunity from single ball elimination in a wildcard round that would seed 3 more into the fright fest that awaits them, while the unfortunate other 4 will find a quick path to the cauldron and an early demise. We wish them all the best in their attempts to tiptoe through the torturous test.
Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Live on tape from Bolero Roswell in Roswell, Georgia. This is Coach Randy, welcoming you to episode 108 of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Trick or Treat 2019. It has become an annual tradition. The weekend before Halloween, we scare the living daylights out of our young friends with a Prodigy exclusive format we call Trick or Treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3. We'll explain the format a little later in the show, as the 10 kids who started the day bowled a 2-game qualifier, and only the top 3 earned automatic spots in the stepladder. 3 more will emerge from the wildcard round, where we'll begin with 7 players and winnow the field down to 3, who will get the final 3 spots in today's stepladder finals. We'll meet the 6 kids as they come up. You know most of them, although there are 2 faces you'll meet today for the first time on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. The first sisters we've ever had on Prodigy. These kids will bowl a single ball elimination wildcard round to eliminate 4 of these 7. First up is Jesse Hamadi, who finished second in this event 1 year ago in one of the most thrilling endings to a Prodigy Bowlers Tour event that we've ever seen. He's back and hungry to get through to the end. We got a call from Big Logan Mathis, who's off at college. He was unable to be here today to defend his title, and he sent a message to Jesse, whom he vanquished last year, and said, "Get her done." There's a 9 count to begin. 9 is often good enough in these single ball eliminations. Next to go is the smallest player in the field, but not the youngest, Rowan Sautner. Rowan bowling in our league for just the 2nd season this year. He began in the junior varsity league 1 year ago. And this year he decided to move up to the varsity. He's averaging 151. And as you may recall, he was on our Trick or Treat as easy as 1, 2, 3 episode last year. In the qualifying round, he beat everybody, the bigs and the littles. We had a littles division last year. It was he and Hunter Moffitt, and Rowan got eliminated in the very first frame. Hunter won the championship without ever throwing a ball. Rowan was not pleased. But he starts with a strike here. Now you notice we do have colored pins in the rack. They're not counting for anything just yet. They will later, but here in the wild card round, just ignore them. Next to go is Hayes Gabriel. He qualified 6th, so he ended up in the wild card round. We only took the top 3 as an automatic seed in the stepladder. Hayes averages 192 in our varsity league. And there's 9. So at the moment, Hayes and Jesse are on the bubble. Next up is Brandon, I can handle 4, Caraviti. He qualified 7th. He's bowling in our league for the 2nd year this season. Averaging 186. Took a big step up over the summer. 15 years old, from Detroit, Michigan. He and his family moved down here last year, and we're glad to have him.
Guys, it's 4-4.
A thin hit, and he leaves one, so we've got 3 players on the bubble now with 9. Next up is Josh Greenberg, the only player in our field today bowling out of our junior varsity, but he's not the youngest. He will actually turn 13 next month. Josh averages 133 in the junior varsity. And I suppose we'll have to move him up to the varsity next year. He's gaining valuable experience on Prodigy. And there's a strike, so Josh is safely on to frame 2 with Rowan. Next to go, our 9th qualifier, Alyssa Harding. Alyssa and her sister came to our league this year for the first time from Stars and Strikes in Cumming. And Alyssa stuffs him straight back for a strike, and she is safely on. So all the 9s are on the bubble as Alana Harding, Alyssa's sister, steps up. Alana qualified 10th today. She is the youngest player in our field, just 10. She'll turn 11 next month. And that one gets away from her left. She gets 6, and it's an early exit for Alana. She is the first to be eliminated. And she receives the traditional send-off song from everyone as we will move on to frame 2. The players will move over to lane 40. And we're now down to just 6. We will keep this up until we're down to just 3. 3 players will advance as wild cards to the Stepladder today. But now Jesse will be first to go in frame 2. Remember, low pinfall is eliminated. Yikes. What happened? He says he hit the hat. Well, he was wearing the hat backwards, the rally cap style with the brim off his back. And I think when he got to the top of his swing, the back of the hat bumped up against his back and it distracted him. Well, that'll teach you to wear a hat when you're bowling. All right, Rowan just needs to beat 3. And a strike beats 3. So Rowan is on to frame 3. Jesse really taking the pressure off of everybody quickly here in frame 2. That 3 count has everybody relaxed. A Brooklyn hit by Hayes Gabriel, but 8 is enough, and he's moving on to frame 3. Well, the last time we saw Brandon Caraviti bowling in one of these single ball elimination wildcard rounds, he was in just this situation. Nolan Kemp had just gotten 3, and Brandon got up and said, "I think I can handle 4." And he proceeded to get one and eliminated himself. This time he gets 7. That's good enough to advance. So we move on to Josh Greenberg. This little guy has struggled thus far to get past our wild card rounds. He's been close a couple of times. Maybe today will be his day since we're taking 3. He's waiting for the laughter to subside. I was just telling Alyssa the story about Brandon Caraviti and his troubles in the wild card round a couple of weeks ago. There's 8 for Josh, and that is not a problem. He liked that one so much. Watch this. He turned around and dabbed even before the ball got to the pins. He knew it was good. So we go to the bottom of the order. It's Alyssa Harding. Alyssa carrying a 136 average in our league. And she gets 6. That's good enough, and Jesse is the next one to make the long walk back to the ball return to get his equipment and head to the exit. So we will move back to the left lane, and now Rowan will lead off. It's a crossover. He gets 8. Sometimes 8 will get you through, sometimes it won't. You'll see some of the players go up to the scoring pods behind the ball returned. Looks like they're keying something in. They're actually resetting the rack. The reset button on the ball return isn't working, so we're having to do it the high-tech way. There's a strike for Hayes Gabriel, and he says, I'm moving on. But one of these 5 players will not. Who's it gonna be? Not gonna be Brandon. He's moving on. So Rowan anxiously looking on, hoping that somebody gives him an opportunity maybe to get into a roll-off or to survive. Now Josh. Nine sends him to the 4th frame.
Alyssa, you need 8 for a roll-off, 9 to move on.
So Alyssa needs 8 to get into a roll-off with Rowan. 9 would send Rowan home. 7 or less, and Alyssa's day will be done. And she's waiting and waiting, and now the pins are ready. Oh, there's 8.
We have a roll.
And she says, what does that mean? Well, she's never been through one of these before. Alyssa, it means you're in a roll-off with Rowan. Hayes, Brandon, and Josh will sit and watch as Rowan and Alyssa decide which one of the two of them is going home.
One of you is gone. Your sister said you were.
Oh, look out. Rowan sends one into the weeds, and somehow he gets 8 out of it. The question is, will 8 be enough? Alyssa's in exactly the same situation she was in a moment ago. 9 or a strike, and she eliminates Rowan and moves on. 8, the roll-off will continue. 7, and Alyssa's out. But she rips the rack, and Rowan, see you later, buddy.
I'm sorry.
That's the end of the road for the little guy. So we will head on to the next frame. The players will move to the right lane as Rowan clears out his equipment. And now it's Hayes Gabriel. Now, with just 4 left, that means that 3 of these 4 will advance to the stepladder. Only one of these will not make it. There's 9 for Hayes. And now he will sit and wait. And sometimes the waiting is the hardest part. Thank you, Tom Petty. Brandon Caraviti wiping off his bowling ball. He will carefully set his feet, pick out his target, and go. Oh, it's Brooklyn, but he gets them all. And he says, I'm in. And yes, he is in to the stepladder finals. And the question is, which one of these 4 will not be in? Next up is the one JV player in our field, Josh Greenberg. Oh, that was a pretty good ball. As he laments his bad fortune, and that seemed like it could have got there. It just didn't quite turn the corner for Josh. So now he is on the bubble. Hayes is safely on to the stepladder finals. And who is the final spot going to go to? With that 8 count, Alyssa stamps her ticket to the stepladder finals. It's Hayes, Brandon, and Alyssa who are moving on. But now, the real treachery awaits. Trick or treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3. But will it be as easy as it seems?
Hello, friend. I'd like to bowl a few lines.
Brought your own bowling pins?
Why, sure. Folks who know the score know you get more action from these pins. See that big red crown that goes all around? Means it's a real red crown Dura King bowling pin made by Brunswick. Makes the game more fun. Now, why don't you have these high-scoring pins, friend?
We got them. Look at the plaque.
Brunswick, Dura King, Red Crown pins. You've got them all right. Can't wait. Just love to bowl against those pins.
All over America, more people are bowling against red crowns than any other pins. Just ask for the big red crowns, Dura King bowling pins by Brunswick.
Boo!
I'm sorry for what I did to your face.
All good. Have a break. Breaks are good. Have one.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, the 10 kids who came to participate today bowled a 2-game qualifier. The top 3 won automatic seeds into the Stepladder finals. The bottom 7 just bowled in the Wildcard round. Alana Harding was the first to be eliminated. Then Jesse Hamadi, looking to improve on his second-place finish of a year ago in this event, took the next off-ramp with a 3 count. Rowan Sautner was next to leave us. He's boiling in the cauldron right now. And Josh Greenberg was fed to the wolves right after that. And that leaves us with 3 wild cards to fill out today's Stepladder finals. So let's meet the players who will be trying to navigate through a minefield of disasters and distractions on the way to the ultimate goal of signing the coveted trophy pin. In the 6th position is Alyssa Harding, who, along with her sister Alana, is making her first appearance today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Sadly, Alana was fed to the wood chipper and couldn't be with us for the Stepladder finals. In the 5th position is Brandon Caraviti, a 4-time winner on Prodigy last season. He wants to return to the winner's circle. Alyssa and Brandon will face our 4th-seeded player, Hayes Gabriel. Hayes upped his game over the summer and is averaging much higher this season. But how will it translate in today's diabolical format? The winner of that first 3-player match will advance to face 2 more opponents who won their positions in our Stepladder today with their performances in the qualifying round. In the 3rd position is Anthony Smiga. Anthony bowled games of 128 and 170 to grab the 3 spot. And our number 2 qualifier is Christian Manel. Christian started slow with a 112, but rolled the highest game of the event thus far, a 219 in his 2nd qualifying game. The winner of that second 3-player match will advance to face our tournament leader for the title today. And the player sitting atop the leaderboard today is none other than Nolan Kemp. Nolan fired games of 151 and 203 in qualifying to seize the lead. Although he has won several times on Prodigy Bowlers Tour before, every title he's won came in a team event, or one of those events where we crowned multiple winners, like when we awarded spots in a ball demo day. Nolan has never won a solo title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, but he's also never been the tournament leader before. So today is his best chance yet to get it done. But all 6 of these players will have to stay alert if they want to avoid peril, because there are disasters aplenty that await. The game we're playing today is called Trick or Treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3, and here's how it works. You've no doubt noticed that we're playing with color pins today, and now they start to come into play. If a color pin is standing in either the 1, 2, or 3 pin positions and you make a strike, you'll collect a treat. 1 treat for each color pin you knock down from the 1, 2, or 3 pin position on strikes. Knock down 3 color pins in the 1, 2, and 3 pin spots and strike, and you'll collect 3 treats. 2 color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots on a strike, and you'll collect 2 treats. You'll need those treats to buy your way out of tricks, because if you leave 1 or more color pins standing after your second ball in a frame, that's a trick, and you'll need at least as many treats in your bank as you have color pins left standing after your second ball. But here's where it gets really dicey. If you leave a color 1, 2, or 3 pin standing after your second ball, you're instantly eliminated. You can't buy your way out of that. To the dungeon for you. Your day is through, and you meet an early demise. Too bad. Make your spares, and you'll survive. Each player is given 1 treat to start the game, and may take up to 2 re-racks per game. Use those re-racks wisely, and you'll save yourself a lot of agony and alarm. But with all these color pins and concerns about what to do, don't forget you have a match you have to win if you wish to advance. It's a lot to think about. Oh, and as if that weren't enough, they've been bowling all day on one of the most treacherous of all sport patterns, Highway to Hell. 40 feet in length with fairly average volume, but just a 2-to-1 ratio, which means players can't expect the oil to help guide an errant shot back to its intended destination. So with all that as a prelude, we return to the spot where all the fear and frolic will play out. The player who can keep his or her wits about them will likely be the one to survive to the end. All right, we'll try to keep track of all the color pins for you. Alyssa has a color 1 and 3 pin, so she could pick up 2 more treats with a strike here. No strike, but she gets rid of all the color pins, so not to worry for her second ball. Brandon has a color 2 pin here. He can pick up 1 more treat. Oh, but you got a strike to pick up the extra treats, and now he's got a whole bunch of color pins to contend with on his second shot. Alyssa misses her spare, but it's not a color pin, so it's just an open frame. Now, Brandon must knock down the 2 pin, and he's got 3 or 4 other color pins. He's only got 1 treat to work with. Oh! And he is done. Brandon self-eliminates in the first frame. Hayes Gabriel, completely nonplussed by what has just transpired, throws a picture-perfect strike. He didn't have any color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spot to pick up any treats. But look at this. Here's Brandon's second ball. He knew it as soon as it left his hand. And he's done. So this match continues, but with only 2 players. Alyssa will move over to lane 40 now for her second frame, after Brandon retrieves his hat, picking up where Big Logan left off last year. All right, there's a color 2 pin. And now she leaves it along with the 1 and 10, so she's going to have the washout. You can't buy your way out of a color 1, 2, or 3 pin if you leave them, so she at least has to knock over the 2 pin just to survive. This will be a very short match if she leaves the 2 pin after this. But she nearly converted the washout. The important thing is she knocked down the 2 pin. So 18 through 2 frames. And now Hayes Gabriel We'll move over to lane 40. He has a color 1, 2, and 3 pin. He could pick up 3 more treats with a strike here. It's a Brooklyn hit. The 1, 2, and 3 are gone, but he leaves a color 9 pin. Now he has 1 treat in his bank, so if he were to happen to miss this 9 pin as Alana is taking a re-rack, I can't say that I blame her. If Hayes misses this, he'll need to spend his treat. And he does miss it, so the 1 treat that he had is now gone. He can get more by throwing strikes with the 1, 2, and 3 pins standing, but for the time being, Hayes will be flying without a net. Now, Alyssa. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots. She gets 9, leaves the 2. No problem there. Well, before the match started, we went by where they qualified in the qualifying round to get their lane preferences. Alyssa and Hayes wanted to start on the left. And Alyssa misses the 2 pin, but she's not eliminated because it's not a color pin. If you leave a color 1, 2, or 3 pin standing after your second ball, you're eliminated. If you leave a color pin standing in another position after the second ball, you can buy your way out of it. Now Hayes, with a color 2 pin here, can win back that treat that he just lost. But he needed a strike to do it. He leaves the 10. And here's Alyssa with no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 spots. And she too leaves a 10 pin. Neither one of these color pins, so no risk of elimination. Good thing, because Hayes didn't have a treat to buy his way out, but he just suffers the open frame. And there's a spare for Alyssa. Well done. Alyssa, just 12 years old. Now look at all these color pins. Alyssa with a 1 and a 3 color pin on the left. And Hayes is saying, I'm going to take a re-rack here. I don't like this. So he spends one of his 2 re-racks. Players get 2 to start. And now Alyssa with a 1 and a 3 and a 7 and a 10 color pins. And it's a good thing that 5 went down, because Alyssa only has 1 treat to work with. But now she'll need to make that 7 or forfeit her treat. Here's Hayes with a color 1 pin. And there's a strike, and that earns back that treat that he had lost earlier. So he's back to 1 treat. Ooh. Alyssa just barely gets that 7 pin, so she preserves the treat that she had banked at the beginning. And now let's see what we've got for color pins down here. Both players have a color 1 pin, so a strike, and they'll pick up a treat. Oh, Alyssa nearly had a 6, 7, 10, all 3 of them color pins. There's a strike for Hayes, so he banks a 2nd treat. Might need it later. Alyssa, she's going to have to get at least 1 of these to survive. But she covers both of them. She needed 2 treats to cover the 6-10 if she had missed them both because they were both color pins. But she made the spare, so it doesn't matter. There's a color 1-2 on the left lane. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 for Hayes here on lane 40. But he leaves the 6-10, and that 6 pin is a color pin. And now we have a bit of a dilemma for Alyssa on the left lane. She got rid of the 1, 2 color pins, but now she's got that 7 pin remaining. Here's Hayes for his spare. And he runs by it. There's 1 color pin left standing. He has 2 treats. Now he's down to 1. So he had enough to buy off the color pin left standing. Now we're discussing the options here with Alyssa. She has 1 treat in her bank. So if she were to miss this spare, she could buy off that 7 pin. Is she going to go for the split? No, she's going to go for the 7 pin. She gets it. That'll be an open frame, which she might have had even if she'd gone for the split, but she preserves her treat this way. A calculated risk, that, and possibly the smart way to play it. Now, there are 2 color pins in the 2 and 3 pin spots. 2 treats available. Oh my goodness. Now she still has the color 2 and 3 for her spare with a couple of others. Hayes with a color 3 pin here. Little double dribble. He gets all the color pins down, leaves the 7. All right, now Alyssa, her banked treat will do her no good if she leaves the 2 or 3 pins standing. So she's pretty much got to make this to survive. And she does. That is well done. All right, Hayes for his spare. No problem with the 7 pin. Well, Alyssa admitted this is nerve-wracking. No color pins available for Hayes on the right lane. And he leaves the washout. So that could tighten this match if he doesn't convert. Alyssa with a whole bunch of color pins. Oh my goodness, the 1, 2, 7, 9. And she's got the 1 and 2 pins, both color pins. She's at least got to knock them down. She has a treat to buy off the 9 pin, but it won't help her with the 1 and 2. Oh, a good attempt at the washout by Hayes, but an open. And what a clutch spare for Alyssa. She's made a few of those this match. But we've been so concerned with the color pins and what to do. Here are a couple more, 1 and 2 pins on both lanes available to the players, and Alyssa is taking a re-rack. She wants none of it. But this match is pretty close. Hayes goes right at the 1 and 2 pins, gets them down. He picks up 2 more treats because that was a strike. So the situation is this. Alyssa trailing by 16 pins. She's going to need something good to happen here in the 10th frame. A double would sure help. Well, she goes Brooklyn, gets 9, and leaves the 5 pin. No color pins to concern herself with. And once they are to the fill ball in the 10th frame, color pins are out of play. It's just on your first or first 2 shots in the 10th if you make a spare. So there's her spare. All she has left is the fill ball, and color pins will not matter on the fill ball. So a possible 142 if she strikes to fill it up. Hayes is just going to need good count in the 10th frame, and he's going to move on. Well, and Alyssa short counts on the fill ball. She gets 6, that's 138. Hayes just needs good count, and to avoid any color pin disasters. With that 2-pin standing here, I might consider re-racking this. You've got a re-rack left, but he's going to go anyway. About the only thing that could trip him up is if he had some color pin disaster. But that problem is now gone, and that 8 count ought to do it. Hayes is the winner of this first match. That gives him 137 in the 9th plus 8 more. He is moving on. 139 in the 9th with a spare up, so he's got at least 149. Even if he fouls on the last ball, again, the color pins mean nothing on a fill ball. A 9 count will give him 158. It's a 158 to 138 win. And then, of course, Brandon made that unfortunate early exit. Here are your 3 competitors in match 2. Only one of them will survive.
You have any more Skittles?
No, I don't have any more Skittles.
Can you get any more?
No, I can't get any more.
Why not? Aren't you a magic?
Will you please leave?
But you told me that when I came here, that I could have all the Skittles I wanted.
Get out of my house!
Have you seen that Skittles commercial with the witch?
Yes, eat, my boy, but leave room for regret. For life is an unending cycle of disappointment.
Regret the rainbow, taste the rainbow.
Oh, that's not as good as I remember.
Please, get out of my house!
Can I have some more Skittles?
Annoy the rainbow, taste the rainbow.
Now, bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your bowling center with Prodigy Bowlers Tour t-shirts and sportswear, including collared shirts with the Prodigy logo printed on the back to show that you support junior bowling. Check out the entire assortment of Prodigy t-shirts in the Brownswick store. Visit PRODIGYBowlersTour.com to see the selection. See the ash gray Celebrating Junior Bowling, Elevating Junior Bowlers t-shirt, or the Who Will Win the Coveted Trophy Pin t-shirt. Or maybe you'd want the one that says, I've come to get my bowl on, right on the front of the shirt, or simply, Bowl Me. There's a t-shirt that says, Bowling. You probably don't get it because it's mainly for smart people. And if you're a proud parent with a junior bowler, we've got a t-shirt just for you. And how about this t-shirt? You're bowling an 8th grader. Prepare to meet defeat. Available in grades 1 through 9, most in both adult and kid sizes. And finally, the shirt that reads, Bowl better, have more fun, take lessons. Then maybe you can keep up with me. The Brownswick store is powered by the people at Cafe Press, and all of these shirts are available right now. Just go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com and click on the link to be taken right to the store. PayPal and credit cards accepted. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. Get your bowl on and bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your house. Order now. Go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. So, I see the witch's brew I've concocted for our bowlers today has claimed a victim, as Brandon could somehow not knock over the colored 2-pin in his very first frame. And now, off with his head! Alyssa showed remarkable courage and resilience in making tough spare after tough spare to avoid instant elimination. So I guess we'll let her live. And Hayes Gabriel is the one who rose to the occasion in match 1 and now advances to match 2 to face 2 Prodigy mainstays. Last year in this event, Anthony had already spent his 1 treat when he left the 7-10 split, and both pins were color pins. It meant he had to make the 7-10 just to survive. And, well, Anthony did not survive that day. And Christian has never played in this event, so it remains to be seen whether he has the right stuff to get through it. But this seems like a bad place to test his mettle. He is, after all, the master of disaster. There's a color 1 and 3 pin for Anthony on lane 40. And he's wide with it, leaves the 1-5, the color 1 pin. Here's a 2 and a 3 on lane 39. Hayes up to go. And Brooklyn takes out all the color pins. All right, Anthony covers the spare. The critical one was the 1 pin. You see him grabbing his chest. He knew what was at stake. No color pins to concern himself with for Christian. Oh, and Hayes just gets the spare. A high hit for Christian. Leaves the 10. All right, there's a color 1 pin on lane 39 as Anthony's set to go. Oh, man. A stake through the heart and a stone 8. Christian takes care of his spare. And Anthony inexplicably runs past the 8 pin. Doesn't cost him a treat because there was no color pin there. And looky here on lane 40, Hayes is taking a re-rack. He doesn't like that 4-7-10 with all color pins. Meanwhile, on lane 39, we've got a 3 pin. That's a color pin. Christian says, no problem, I'm taking it. But he's wide with the shot, and that 2 pin remains standing. And again, you got to be careful when it's a 1, 2, or a 3 pin, color pin. If you leave it standing after the second ball, you're done, regardless of how many treats you have banked. Hayes light with the first ball, leaves the 2, 4, 5. Got a color pin up, but he has a treat to work with. Oh man, I cannot believe that's the way he was meaning to shoot that. But he covers the 1, 2, 4, 8. No harm, no foul. All right, Hayes for the spare. Got to get up. Oh. And he leaves 1 color pin standing in the 4 pin spot. He had a treat to work with, so he buys off that 1 color pin with his treat. Hayes now without any treats. He'll be flying without a net until he can earn more treats. Meanwhile, here's Anthony. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots. But he does have that 4, 6. I'm surprised he's shooting at this. Well, nothing to it. He just strikes and says, I don't care. There's a color 2 pin for Hayes. He can get that treat right back with a strike. But he leaves the 5, so no treat earned yet. Christian with a 2. That's a color. And that's a strike. So he earns another treat. Bank it. That's 2 now for Christian. Hayes will go for the spare. And he leaves the 5 standing. And good for Hayes that it wasn't a color pin, or he'd be done because he had no treats to spend. All right. Anthony taking a re-rack on the left lane. Well, he reached for the reset button. It's not working, so he has to go to the scoring panel to reset the rack. And I think Hayes may be considering a re-rack on the right lane. There's a lot of colored pins up. But Anthony definitely wants none of this. Oh, I can see why. He's got the color 7 and 10. Now, that 3-pin also perhaps an issue, but last year Anthony was eliminated when he left the 7-10 split, both of them color pins, and of course he wasn't able to make the split, and he didn't have enough treats to buy off what was left. And Hayes with a strike. He had a color 2-pin, so now he picks up that treat that he lost earlier. Anthony with a color 1 and 3 can pick up 2 treats here. And he does with a strike. So Anthony will go from 1 to 3 treats just like that. Those treats might come in handy later. Christian now up on the left lane. He has a color 3-pin. And he gets the strike on a Brooklyn trip 6. There's a color 3-pin for Anthony, and he gets a strike. So Christian goes to 3 treats. Anthony is now up to 4. But of course, the treats are only part of the story. There's a color pin for Hayes in the 1-pin position. Remember, it's their score, not their treats, that determine the winner. A high hit for Hayes. He leaves the 6-pin. And it's a color pin, so he's got to be careful with it. He does have the 1 treat. There's a color 2-pin for Christian. So he can pick up another treat here with a strike. Ooh, nearly had the 7-10. Breaks it up, though. Hayes covers his 6-pin. And that will preserve his 1 treat and, of course, keep him in the game with a mark. Christian now will go cross lane at the 7-pin. We see that Anthony has a 3-pin in his rack. Spare for Christian, and now Anthony. Brooklyn leaves the 6, so no treats earned. But with 4 of them already banked, you would think that he probably won't need many more. Covers the 6. There's a color 2-pin for Hayes. Again, just the 1, 2, and 3 are the critical ones, and he gets it on a Brooklyn, so Hayes will pick up a 2nd treat. It's always nice to have 1 or 2 extras in the bank, just in case. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3-pin positions. For Christian here, he's working on a spare and trailing Anthony by 2 pins. Little high, leaves the 4. And look at this, a color 1-pin is the one in play here. And Anthony runs by and leaves the washout. And he's going to have to be careful with this. If he tries to make the washout and runs by the 1 pin and leaves it standing, he's done. Christian whiffs the 4. And that was well played by Anthony.
I don't care at all.
He says, I don't care at all, and I know why. He just wanted to make sure and get that 1 pin down. All right, the 3 pin is the one in play here on lane 39 for Hayes. He can pick up another treat with a strike. And that Brooklyn hit will get the job done. So he moves to 3 treats, but more importantly, he gets a double, and that'll inch him closer into this match. Christian up on the right lane, no colored pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin positions. He is tied with Anthony right now for the lead in the match. And that strike will keep him there. All right, Anthony with a colored 2 pin. Goes high, leaves the 3-6. No damage done. And he loses no count because he wasn't on a spare. But he whiffs the 3 pin and has an open in the 8th, and that hands the lead to Christian. All right, Hayes had a couple of color pins. A 1 and 2 were both colored pins, but he fails to strike, so it's all for naught. Christian with a color 3 pin here. Oh, and he mixes them up with a Brooklyn and picks up another treat in the process. And we're seeing way too many missed spares. There is an open for Hayes, and he falls farther behind in the match. Christian right now with a 21 pin lead over Anthony, 32 over Hayes. There's a big strike for Anthony, and boy, he needed it. He also picks up a treat with that one. Hayes with the fast 8 as the 2 pin wraps around the 4 and 7. And he's got a color pin. Here's Christian taking one of his 2 re-racks. He wants no part of this 2, 4, 7, 10 color pin combination. There's a spare for Hayes. Well, it's pretty impressive that all 3 of these players have gotten this far in the match. We haven't had anyone eliminated. There is a 1 and a 2. Color pins for Christian. And he gets them all to go. He picks up 2 more treats. So he'll now be up to 6. And more importantly, he has extended his lead over Anthony to 31. Make that 21 with that double by Anthony. And he picks up another treat. Now, once we get to the 10th frame, and we get past the first ball if it's a strike, or the first 2 balls if it's a spare, from here on in, for Anthony, the color pins mean nothing. So he got through to the 10th frame with 6 treats, and I don't believe he ever had to spend one. He leaves the 1, 2, 4, 7, but I think at this point, what he's more concerned about is that he has given Christian an open door. It's a spare. Anthony's going to finish with 188. And Christian just kind of has to show up in the 10th. As we're still waiting on a 180 stop on lane 40 for Hayes to finish his game. The winner of this match will move on to the championship match to bowl Nolan Kemp. That championship match, just 2 players. The leader and whoever wins this one. Well, Christian has pretty much got this match in hand as long as he doesn't have some major slip-up with the color pin. About the worst thing that could happen is if he were to miss the head pin twice. But he takes care of that problem with 9 on the first ball, and with that, he has won the match and earned the right to bowl for the title. There's a strike for Hayes. And he picks up a treat while he's at it. Not that it'll do him any good. He won't need it from here on in. There's a spare by Christian, so he's going to be in the 200s. Little pole shot there by Hayes. Hayes sometimes has a tendency to get a little outside the ball. That elbow flies out to the right, hand gets on the right side of the ball, and it's just kind of a natural pull. He'll stay behind it a little more. He'll correct that. There's 8 for Christian. He's going to finish with 210. And for Hayes, it's a 170 game. 210 for Christian, 188 for Anthony, 170 for Hayes, and it's Christian Manel who will bowl for the championship against Bolin Nolan. One of them will win. One of them will go to the dungeon.
Ted, what are you doing? I was trying to get these Skittles, but I got stuck. Maybe I should try.
I say go for it. If you get stuck, I'll help you get down.
Moments later, I did help Billy get those Skittles, which sparked a lifelong friendship.
No way!
Sharing special surprises.
Matching motorcycles?
2 bikes for 2 bros.
Magical memories.
So I got 8 legs, and I'm not a spider.
Yeah.
If it says spider, I swear.
And endless laughter.
So I was like, arrest me then. I'm just kidding. I ate the kid. I ate the other little boy too.
Trap the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Hello, Mrs. Jensen. You don't have any Snickers in your shopping cart. The neighborhood kids love Snickers on Halloween. Let me help you. I'm only helping. Snickers.
We're definitely going to her house. Shh.
This Halloween, nothing satisfies like Snickers. Smart.
So I see all 3 players managed to last the entire game in match number 2. There must have been a ghost in the machine for that to happen. But well done, gentlemen, for surviving to the end. Too bad only one of you gets to continue. This time, it's Christian Manel, the master of disaster, who finds himself in the enviable position of bowling for the championship. But he must face a determined young man in Nolan Kemp. Nolan has never been here before, bowling in the championship match for a solo singles title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So he knows not what devilish perils await. But one of these two will stand as the champion of All Hallows Eve when this match has ended. The only question is, will someone win it, or will someone lose it? Color 3 pin for Christian on the left lane. And a strike to start. And he gives it a fist bump as he picks up a second treat. Take another look at this strike. Playing right over the fourth arrow out to about 7 or 8. 10 back. No colored pins up for Nolan here in the first frame. He shreds the rack and sends a message to Christian that he came to play. Watch this familiar crooked arm style of Nolan Kemp. Plays up the second arrow. And there you have it. Two very different ways of going about their business. Color 1 pin here. And he's getting clarification on what this means. What it means is if he strikes, he can pick up a second treat because there's a color pin up in the 1 pin position. That 4 pin doesn't mean anything as far as picking up any treats. However, if he leaves the 4 pin standing after his second ball, he'll need that 1 treat that he has to pay for it. If he leaves the head pin standing after the second ball, he's done. But he gets all the color pins to fall, somehow avoids a split going through the nose, and leaves a relatively simple spare, the 6-10. There's a lot to think about in this game. But he's clean through 2. Now Christian will move over to the right lane. He has a color pin up in the 1 pin position, so he can pick up another treat here with a strike. And he gets them all to go somehow. And with that strike, Christian collects a 3rd treat. Now he's got a color 1 and 3 pin here on lane 39. So if he strikes here, he would collect 2 more treats, pushing his total to 5. But this time he goes high, so no treats are collected. And now here's where these color pins get very interesting. If he goes for this split and tries to slide the 3 over into the 7, you see, he's misunderstanding. He says, I've got 3 treats, I could buy it off. But no, that color pin is a 3 pin, and if he leaves it standing, the game is over and he loses. So he's got to at least knock down the 3 pin. Oh, man. Well, that's exactly what he was trying to do, was just knock down the 3 pin, and he did just knock down the 3 pin. And Nolan asked him, did your heart stop? There's a 1 pin that's yellow. For Nolan, he can pick up a treat here. But instead goes through the nose once again, breaks up the split, leaves just the 6 and 10, and no color pins to concern himself with. Now let's not lose sight of the fact that they are bowling a match. Nolan with an 8-pin lead right now. Oh, and he runs past the 6-pin. So he surrenders the lead to Christian. Gotta remember to keep track of the pin count. All right, there's a 1 and a 3. Color pins for Nolan. He can grab 2 more treats with a strike here in the 4th frame. Crosses over, gets all the color pins out. That's good. But he leaves the 5-pin, so no treats earned. And a simple spare to shoot. There's just a lot to keep track of in this game, and it's so easy to get distracted by all the colored pins that you forget about the score. There's a spare for Nolan. And now Christian with a color 3-pin. He can pick up another treat. He's already got 3 and a 3-pin lead. Goes Brooklyn. This time does not trip the 6. But all the color pins are down, so he'll just have a simple spare. He'll go cross lane at it. He throws his strike ball at it. He'll flatten his wrist and go pretty straight at the 6. And make short work of it. So Christian with a 3-pin lead has a color 1-pin here on lane 39. Strike here, and he would pocket another treat. Oh no! Well, how many times have we seen him do this through the years? The real problem for Christian now is he's got a color 1-pin, a color 6 and 10 pin. Not sure if there's an 8-pin back there or not, but he's at least got to knock down the 1-pin. Oh no! Game over. And Nolan Kemp has just won his first singles solo title. And here's how it happened. Christian Manel with a color 1-pin on his second ball, misses it, and cue the foot stomping music. And Christian says, and you won. Woo-hoo. You did it. They say that good things come to those who wait. Well, Nolan's been waiting over 3 years for his first singles solo title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And the wait is over. We'll visit with him after this.
I am here for your heads.
Who are you?
I am the horseless headsman.
I think you mean the headless horseman.
No, I mean the horseless headsman.
How's that even scary?
Look at my head.
Have a Snickers.
Why?
Because you get confused when you're hungry. Better?
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers is Halloween satisfaction.
and cozy back in your heart
Hello, Danny. Come pay with us.
Come and pay with us, Danny.
Come pay with us.
Come pay with us, Danny.
Danny, come, let's go pay. Come, let's go.
Dear customers, thank you for shopping at IKEA. Our store is open till 11 p.m. daily.
Hey Prodigy World, it's me, Coach Randy, and I just wanted to take a moment and make a couple of quick announcements. First of all, those of you who watch the show regularly may recall that back in February, I had to put down my dog, Mulligan, who I had for, well, over 16 years. She lived a long, happy life, but I had to say goodbye, and it was very sad. But now I have a new dog, and I want you to meet her. Come here, Oreo. It's Oreo. Say hello, Oreo. Hello, Dad. Where's my food? She's a sweetie. Anyway, that's the one big announcement. And the other one is really just to say thanks to all of our Prodigy patrons. You guys are awesome. Thanks for stepping up. You know, you can be a Prodigy patron too. For just $5 a month, you get early access to all our shows, all of our regular length shows, and you get to see them all even before they're finished. And for $10 a month, you get to be an executive producer of the show and get your name in the closing credits. How cool is that? I mean, that's the way they do it in Hollywood. You put up the money for a big production, then you get your name in the credits as an executive producer. You get to hang out with starlets. I don't have any starlets for you, but, you know, you can hang out with me and Oreo. She's a starlet. Aren't you a starlet? You're such a good baby. Anyway, that's it. Become a patron. You really do help out, and I really do appreciate it when you do. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the show today. Well, I can tell you that Christian was not pleased with his sudden exit today. Nor should he be, as now he'll have to spend the week in the torture chamber. He'll be all right if he lives through it. But we knew that somebody was going to be happy at the end of the day, and that somebody is Nolan Kemp. He sidestepped all the trapdoors and bear traps we had laid for the players, and he got to the end of our competition today unscathed and a champion. After all this time and all this torture that you've been through for the last 3 years on Prodigy, you have finally broken through and won your first singles title all by yourself. Congratulations. And happy Halloween.
Thank you. Happy Halloween to you guys.
So I guess you know what this means. It's not that you haven't signed it before, but every time you've signed it in the past, it's been after a team win or after one of those wins where we had multiple winners. But today, you got it done all on your own. And Nolan Kemp has captured the 2019 Trick or Treat as easy as 1, 2, 3. What are you thinking?
I can't believe he left the on pan, but it feels great to finally win, and I appreciate all the support that I get from all the people.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go. Now, from the Prodigy Bowlers Tour newsroom, with reports from around the world, across the nation, and up your alley, this is Prodigy Striking News. You know, while we were taping the show you just watched, something very special was going on just a few pairs over to our left. It was just a little over 3 years ago that Mikey Kabrinsky set the house record for the highest game ever bowled in Youth League at Bolero Roswell. It was known as Brunswick Zone Roswell at the time, but Mikey's 299 was higher than any score bowled in Youth League since the center opened as Brunswick Roswell Lanes back in the 1980s. Hard to believe, but there's never been a 300 game bowled in our youth leagues at this bowling center. But on Saturday, October 26, 2019, Antonio Hairston Jr., or AJ as we call him, set out to do something about that. We catch up with him as he has the front 10 strikes in a row. Oh, that's solid in the pocket. He's got 11 in a row. He only needs one more for the first ever perfect 300 game in Youth League bowled in this bowling center since it opened in the 1980s. Earlier today, in one of his league games, AJ started with the front 8. Got 8 on the next ball en route to a 256. Here it is for 300. The same thing that happened to Mikey 3 years earlier, a 4-pin.
That's still a great game. Congratulations.
But Antonio Hairston Jr. now shares the house record with Mikey Kabrinsky as our search for the first perfect game in Bolero Roswell Youth League history continues. Congratulations, AJ. That was one great game. Some other news this week in Prodigy Land. Prodigy Bowlers Tour champion and the first winner of the coveted trophy pin, Charles Bostic, had quite a memorable week last week as he finished 9th in the PTQ, that's the Pro Tour qualifier, to secure a spot in this week's United States Open, one of bowling's most prestigious championships. And while Charlie's week at the US Open may not have gone quite the way he wanted, it was a stellar performance that got him into the field. And all of us involved in youth bowling here in the state of Georgia are proud of our favorite son. Also, this past Saturday, October 26th, was the second of 2 days of Pepsi qualifying in our Roswell Varsity and Roswell Junior Varsity leagues. Those who qualified included Margot Gordon, Samuel Anderson, Lawrence Mayfield, Josh Greenberg, and Ellie Grogan in the Junior Varsity. And in the varsity, Hunter Moffitt, Alana Harding, A.J. Hairston Jr., Jawan Donaldson, John Schlitch, Allison McGowan, Brandon Caraviti, Christian Manel, Annalise O'Brien, Anthony Smiga, Nick Dissinger, and Tristan Davis. By the way, Annalise qualified with a 767 series that included games of 280 and 268. Nice bowling, kid. Congratulations to all these kids on their awesome accomplishments on the lanes.